Hello and welcome to the Hobby Room. The live stream will start soon. Please hold. Get a drink, sit back, and relax. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing really, really well. Sorry, Moog just managed to shunt up to me so close that I thought I was going to eat him for a second, like swallow his very essence. Anyway, good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing really well. My name is the one Ben Bailey, or Ben Bailey, as it says just down here, and this wonderful gentleman is Moog. That's pretty much how it works. I hope you're all doing great. Thank you very much for bearing with us. We should have started a little bit ago, but the round was late going up. Naturally, it's a Warhammer tournament. What do you expect? And then there was a couple of little issues with getting the commands to work because we had some technical problems yesterday. But that's why we always set up the day before. But we've got all of our stands. They're here. The cameras are all situated. I don't think there's going to be much shaking around the table unless they decide to punch it. We've got multiple angles of the one table. I don't know if you heard the Tadar then or not. You did hear the Tadar.
I heard everything.
That's not good. I need to really quickly change that. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're doing great. We have got a couple of cracking games for you today, but there's a couple of little housekeeping things to go over first. Now, we're streaming the largest Warhammer Age of Sigmar event in the UK this weekend with Mancunian Carnage.
Not incorrect to say that.
I'm sorry that you... I assume you guys couldn't hear that, and I'm very apologetic. I'll turn that down a little bit. There you go. But I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, so we're doing the biggest Age of Sigmar tournament in the UK this weekend.
Yep.
That we know of.
Yep.
If you know anything more than 80 players, please let us know. It is also the biggest tournament that we've covered here at the Hobby Room. So no pressure.
Excited.
No pressure. We've got a bit more technology working today. We've got a bit more of this, a bit more of that. There are 6 computer screens behind here for 2 people. So we've got plenty of opportunity to look at stuff, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Which is fantastic. But if you aren't aware, Mancunian Carnage is ran by one of the most amazing people in the hobby. His name is Alex, at GhostArm on Twitter. Absolutely lovely gentleman, and has very graciously let us come and stream here from Element Games. You'll recognise the setup. Apologies about the couple of wires in the front. That's so that Alex can put his stuff on the screen if he needs to. But Carnage has what we call a comp, or a compensation, or composite. I hate the term. He has some additional rules for Carnage over the course of the weekend, and they are as follows. So this is something that we're going to be making ourselves aware of throughout the weekend, and it will change a couple of things about how armies are played and stuff. So the first thing is, when all the lists were built, the first type of enhancement had to be taken from your battle tome. After that, you can crack on. So an enhancement is pretty much anything, right?
Yeah, your relics, your spell laws,
mount traits, that sort of stuff. Any enhancement, the first one had to be from there. Pretty standard, pretty cool. Whatever. The second one, if they draw the Vice, you cannot use Aggressive Expansion turn 1. Which is interesting, because that's the only time that you can use it in that mission.
Yes.
So that's the ruling and the comp on that.
Yeah, because it's 2 objectives. Yeah,
Yep.
it is the only time, so you just can't use it that one.
Which is fine. You know, every tournament organizer has their own opinions on it. 50% go one way, 50% go the other. We also have a couple of comps on the Sons of Behemat, so they can take an endless spell if one of them has been made a wizard. Now, there has been an FAQ released to clarify that as well, but Alex wanted to make sure that if you take Arcane Tome, for example, you can take an endless spell. You can kick 2 objectives a turn if you've got multiple Kraken Eaters.
Good fun.
Yep.
Good fun.
And the Mightier Makes Rightier table is slightly different from here. Subtract 10 off each of those numbers. It did change throughout the week. I just didn't get a chance to update the image. We'll try and get that done at some point. But yes, we've got 20, 15, 10, and then 8 is what it's worth on each model. The Dank Hold Trog Boss has the monster keyword for Gits. Stormcast Eternals. Now, this is quite a big one. The hero phase move on the dragons cannot be used to retreat. Pretty big. Also, Stormdrake Guard, you're not battle line, and this is what I think it should be in the actual rules. You're not battle line unless you take Kazarai or Krondus, which are the big battles. Your hero phase move is also adjusted to 6 inches, and on Stand and Shoot and Unleash Hell activations, you change the way the mortal wounds work.
Yeah.
Pretty standard. Pretty alright. Makes them a bit more tolerable, palatable, if you like. The Cities of Sigmar, you can't strike and melt away. You can't move towards enemy models. You have to move away from them.
So we will see that one in effect in the first game.
Yep. Seraphon, no Foresight ability, so no extra command points there. You increase the points on a Skink Priest. In Coalesced Scaly Skin only applies to Croxagore and monsters. Again, an absolutely wonderful change. It's nice to see that comp there. We've got Gloomspite gets Bone Splitters and Skaven get 6 reinforcement points
instead of the usual 4,
which is huge.
Beautiful change.
Yep, absolutely beautiful. Skaven, Nighthaunt, Sylvaneth, Gits, Khorne, Flesh-Eater Courts, and Header Knights of Slash. Now this is a big one. All get 250 extra points.
That's a group more of Jezzails, that is, to not be able to kill Stormdrake Guard with.
Yep, precisely. That is, with a couple of lists around, our very own Tom Waller, who comes and I can see him playing right now. He's playing Flesh-Eater Courts this weekend. He's managed to swap his list around to include another Terrorgeist in there, which is absolutely terrifying. So that's absolutely awesome. Prime Hunters, you add Kragnos and Marathi the Shadow Queen to the target table, naturally. And then the Thondia book and Incarnates are not in play because they only came out a couple of weeks ago. So, they are not in play.
That's that?
Yep. Pretty simple, pretty easy. So, shall we go through... Do you want a mission or lists first for game 1? We'll get straight in.
Let's get stuck straight in. So
with lists or mission?
Mission first of all.
Mission?
That's nice and easy.
What? Mission? You mean this?
Tooth and nail.
Oh, look at it. We've got
nail.
all the overlays and graphics that all work, right?
So, Tooth and Nail, nice easy staircase deployment, which everyone loves to set up.
Yep.
The main thing in here, obviously, no reinforcements.
Yeah, which is huge for the
no deep striking.
Yeah. Yeah, you just remove half your army if you reinforced it. Yeah, that's how that works.
Summoned units, they cannot shoot or charge in the turn of which they come in.
Yep.
So I don't think that's an issue with either of these 2 lists because I don't think we've got any summoning.
Living Cities, maybe?
I don't know if we've got any ability to summon them in this list. But other than that, it's 4 objectives, and then it's score 1 if you control at least 1, score 1 if you control 2 or more, score 1 if you control more than your opponent.
Yeah.
And then score 2 if you complete your battle tactic.
Pretty simple. We'll probably refer back to this every now and then throughout the game. And then we're going to go... Oh, there is also a set of secondary objectives that are available in Carnage as well. Do these add to the VPs?
These do add to the VPs, I believe, for the thing. At the end of the game.
At the end of the game?
I believe so.
Cool.
So we've got extra secondary objectives, and what they've picked for each person so far, we'll come across them when we go through the list.
Sweet. So, let's go to our first list, which is Neil Peckett, or Nelly, with his Idoneth Deepkin. Do you want me to run through this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Brilliant. So we've got the Killing King starting off. Pretty nice. Very, very good for 250 points. He is the general. He has the command trait of Unstoppable Fury, the Bladed Polearm, the Arcane Tome, the Mount trait, which is the Void Chilled Darkness, and Flaming Weapon. So basically, the idea with this is when you are affected by the High Tide, you get 2 extra attacks on every single characteristic in the melee characteristic, and you're going to just have flaming weapons, so you're going to be even more damaged. The idea is that in turn 2 and 3, the king will just launch himself in there and be absolutely deadly.
Absolutely.
The Isherin Tidecaster has Pressures of the Deep. I believe that's -1 to hit on a unit with an 18. Endless Life Swarm, again, just keeps a couple of things alive. Probably the king a little longer, which is quite nice. We have 2 units of 10 Namati Thralls sat there. And then we've got Bloodthirsty Shiva, Achillean Alapexes. 3 of those, because he is a Futhan, so you can include them. There's the ability to give them, if they're against a wounded target, they get even better. Alapexes already get better, but they get even better with that. And then you've got another unit of Alapexes after that, 5 Tree Revs as allies, and then of course the Leviathan there to be able to give the Namatis a better hitting and everything else a better save. We've got a Battle Regiment and Hunters, which means he's a 4-drop army, and is at 1960 points. So it's a pretty solid list there from Neil. Now let's move over and have a look at Steve's. Oh, sorry about that. Have a look at Steve's Cities of Sigmar Living City list.
It's a nice Living Cities list. Not a Fulminator or a Strongdray Guard in sight. That's what we like to see. A nice fluffy representation of a Sylvaneth city.
Yeah.
So, Cities of Sigmar, especially the Living City, they've got a rule where 1 in 4 units can be Sylvaneth. So they can be taken, outside of allies. So we start off with a Nomad Prince, a nice elven hero if you're into elves. With the Amulet of Destiny, which of course is the 6-up ward save. We've got a Sorceress, which is the General's Adjutant, which will give extra command points if they're nearby the General at the start of the turn. She's got the Lore of Leaves, Iron Oak Skin, which gives the unit -1 to be wounded whenever you choose it as a attack target. We've got the Dreadlord on Black Dragon with the Spear of the Hunt, which I believe gives him an extra rend on a weapon. And if they've charged, they get to fight before the combat phase starts. So, of course, they can then choose their second unit straight away instead of having to give priority to another target. And then we've got a Lone Assassin. He can just pop up, do some mortal wounds, and then he's done what he needs to do. For the other units, we've got Dread Spears, which are the Honoured Retinue, which can, of course, take wounds for the General. We've got 3 units of 10 Sisters of the Watch. A nice simple ranged unit, really. Then we've got 5 Wild Riders, nice mobile casters.
Yep.
And in fact, that's Sister of the Thorn, not the Wild Riders. And then we've got Colonel Hunters with the Scythes and a big block of 30 Dryads.
Yeah, that unit of Dryads will probably just move up the centre of the table, I imagine, and just be a pain.
Yeah. And then a Tree Lord. Nice simple as a Tree Lord. What do you want?
Nice and simple. Nice and simple indeed. Well, let us go to the table. Bang. Chat, if you want to see those lists at any point throughout the weekend, you are more than welcome to by using !lists in the chat. It will give you the ability to pick up and view those lists at your leisure. Spell it right, Mr. Lamatas. You'll be good to go. It'll take a couple of seconds for the army lists to come in. Work. I just dropped my laptop for work. There you go. Neil's list with Deepkin, and then we'll have Steve's list with cities. Now that's all automatic, thank goodness. So it all changes with when the players use the app. Obviously they're using the app that we've got there on the screen, on the tablet that we always give the players, and it allows them to be able to change and update the live stream so that we can chill. And it's now changed so it updates pretty much everything, which is huge.
Yeah. So Neil went first.
Yes.
It's already finished turn 1.
Yep. A nice, simple turn 1.
He's moved the Sharks up slightly to the top objective, and apart from that, not much else. Just sat back. Looks like we've garrisoned the Gloomtide with a unit. But other than that, we've got a nice defensive line just waiting for them to come.
Yeah, this was deployed garrisoned. So one of the good things about the shipwreck is that you can actually deploy a unit garrisoned inside it. Rather than having to put it up on the table. It is a separate drop, so you don't have to do it pre-battle, so you don't out-drop your opponent even more. But it just means that they're a bit safer. They've got cover, they've got a 5-up ward while there's nobody within 3 inches of it. And it's a little more safe there.
Yeah, so we can also see that both people took, or both players, sorry, took Monstrous Takeover. It's a pretty free objective.
Very free objective. I think in this particular mission, it's a really solid one for you to get nice and early. However, it does mean that later on in the game, for example, if you manage to kill everything, you'll have one less thing to be able to easily get going forward.
So, on the word of objectives, we did forget to go through the special secondary objectives that are available in this tournament.
We did.
So,
you go through
every
them.
player has a list of 10 that they can try and do over the weekend.
Yep.
And they have to choose one per game. They get an extra 5 points at the end of the game if they complete it. If they manage to stop their enemy from completing their one, they get another 5 points. So, a potential of 10 extra points per. So, what they've gone for is the Idoneth Deepkin player has gone for that only counts as one, which is slaying your opponent's highest point behemoth. So, the Idoneth player, as a extra secondary objective this game, needs to kill the Dreadlord on Black Dragon. And similarly, the Cities of Sigmar player has picked, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, which is to have 3 separate units inflict a wound on a single target in one shooting phase. So, he's obviously got those 3 units of sisters. They will be, I'd hope they can all inflict at least 1 wound on something. Especially if they pick like the Thralls unit or the Shark. They don't have incredible amounts of save. As long as he's not throwing it into the Leviathan. And things to say is that this can be done at any point in the battle. It's not like you have to pick this on a certain turn.
Oh, so you can do that at any point?
Any point. It's just at some point in the game.
Nice. That's a solid option there for you.
Yeah.
The players are very kindly moving the view close around the battlefield for us.
Okay.
So we get a couple of nice close shots.
You can see that lovely Sylvaneth army there. Oh well, Sylvaneth. Let's take this to Sigmar. It's just the big old tree lord that you can see in the front, and there he comes straight into the camera.
Yeah, so if you exclamation mark view close in the chat, we'll be able to swap that over. Chat, you guys in the chat are able to control the camera angle that we see with view top, view left, view close, and view right. Thank you very much, Mr. Lamatastic, demonstrating wonderfully that this hasn't been quite set up the way it was at a different event, but not a problem because it takes half a second to fix. There we go.
So there come the Colonel Hunters and the Tree Lord obviously going on to that objective for Monstrous Takeover.
Yep. Look how steady that camera shot is. Look, you can really appreciate the details of the model.
I really, really like the bases and all the autumnal. Sylvaneth. I'm never going to be able to do Sylvaneth that kind of justice.
No, I mean it's beautiful. One of the things that I think is really nice about this particular army here from Steve is that we've got just little bits of tufting here and there. Because you're autumnal, you're going to be a little looser on how many trees and stuff that you've got there on and leaves. Sorry, that you've got.
And it's really nice to see a multi-race army be paired together so well as well.
Yeah, really, really nice. The Cities of Sigmar gives you a lot of playground to be able to mix some of the old world stuff together, which is quite nice. But yeah, we've seen a nice cheeky move up. Monstrous Takeover is really simple. You choose a monster at the start of the turn rather than an objective. So I imagine you've just chosen the Tree Lord here because you're going to be able to move up on the battlefield there and move on with your life.
As we can see, those Wild Riders are in fact conversions as well. We've got some nice, I believe, old Wood Elves on Fenrisian Wolves instead of the Deer Riders.
Nice. Absolutely lovely army. Absolutely lovely army. Tough to make a model 13% more appealing. Also, hello to everybody in the chat. I hope you're doing wonderful. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'm going to take a quick moment to say hello to everybody here. Dad and Lad 40K. So if you are lurking, come and say hey. Why not? Ash and I, how you doing? Jimbo Paints, Anonymous Rex, Mr. Lamatastic. You're doing well, Comradson. Hope it's going well. Thousand Sons of Dawn. Nightbot, obviously, naturally, and everybody else is lurking about. Thank you very much for joining us here. We are streaming Mancunian Carnage. This is round number 1. We have Steve with Cities of Sigmar, and we have Neil with Idoneth Deepkin, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously, I'm a stat man. Scat bitty bitty bap. I have a. I have a slurry of stats to be able to share with you guys at some point this weekend, and I'll probably share it multiple times over the course of the weekend because why not? Hey, why not? Also, thank you very much. Yep, as Mr. Lamatastic has very well put in, there is a lists command. There will be a couple of seconds between each message just because of API calls and stuff like that. but both lists will be able to be popped up in the chat as and when you would like to look at them. There you go. So you can just look at those images and crack on. And if you manage to know what the ID of each user is in my database, feel free to randomly put a number behind it and see what you get.
Right, so we've now seen the blocker 30 Dryads move up directly into the middle to try and block off some space.
Naturally.
Of course, the Leviathan, I believe it's got the fly keyword.
Yep.
Can go over the terrain, but can't finish its move on the terrain.
Yes.
So...
Because it's impassable, right?
Yeah. So he's just trying to make a bit of space so that they can't go to that back objective.
Yep.
There'll be a nice little roadblock. They will. And you can see once again all that basing, and you can see the dread spears and stuff in the back, and the sisters as well. All matching that theme. Just goes together.
Yeah, absolutely lovely army here. Let's go to. I can actually change I forgot I could change the camera angles with all of this sort of stuff. Because why not?
So we're seeing the sisters run up forward.
Yeah. I'll look at trying to get some more lighting on the table throughout the weekend as well. It might just be because we're early in the morning and the sun is low, so to speak. So yeah, what have we got? We've got the Sisters of the Watch.
Yeah.
Should we have a look at their war scroll, Moog?
Absolutely. So while they probably won't be doing anything this turn because they've just run, so they won't be shooting. There we go. So they've got an 18-inch range, so obviously this turn they wouldn't have been in range of doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have an appealing war scroll at first, do they?
Not at first, but then you see on 6s, a mortal wound.
Nice.
So that's where he's going to try and get all those points for the custom secondary, where he needs to have 3 units deal damage to 1 unit of his.
Yep.
So if they ping 1 mortal wound each, he's got his 5 points.
Yep.
If an enemy finishes a charge move within 3, they can unleash hell without a command being issued and command point being spent. Of course, if it was just being simply issued without a command point being spent, they could only do it once, but all 3 units will be able to fire if something comes in within 3.
That's pretty nice, isn't it?
Yep. And then they add 1 to the attack characteristics of their bows if there isn't any enemies within 3 and they haven't moved. So they'll be on 20 shots instead of 10 if they don't move next turn.
Weight of numbers is really, really nice, isn't it?
Especially when you got the chance of doing mortal wounds.
And they're not massively expensive in points, if I'm correct.
No, they're not hugely expensive. 180, so if they're getting their 20 shots off, they're worth the cost of that. If they were getting their 10 off all game, maybe not. They haven't got a great armor save or bravery to go with it, so they're kind of like a bit of a glass cannon.
Yeah,
I'd say cannon, maybe like a glass catapult. They're not incredibly damaging.
A glass slingshot?
A glass. There's got to be some happy medium here.
Blow dart. A glass blow dart.
Glass blow darts. So they've got potential, but they're not exactly the most threatening unit in the book.
Mr. Lamatastic, you can change it to a close-up view if you would like. There you go. You can change that command once every 2 minutes, chat, so you can change the camera angles if you like to. Abuse it, and you will lose it. There you go. Oh, look at that dragon in the background as well.
Yeah, the dragon has come forward. That's not a dread. That is not a black dragon. That is the old high elf dragon.
Is that the metal one?
I don't think that's the metal one. No, I think that's just a conversion of the plastic high elf dragon. I'm sure our resident fantasy expert, Mr. Lamatastic, will know that for sure.
It's a high elf star dragon, apparently.
Yeah. And obviously they've just replaced the model on the back as well to be more wood elfy. I have 2 of these still, these dragons.
What?
Yeah, they're worth a good chunk. They're very nice models. I'm surprised that they're one of the ones that got cut from the range. It's probably a bit better than the current Black Dragon model. But hey, something stayed, something didn't. But yeah, you're right. It's a lot of Cities of Sigmar armies can be a good throwback to the past with the model ranges that they've had before.
Sorry. Alright. Dragon pretty, army pretty, Age of Sigmar flex as all heck. Will it beat the fish, is the question.
Will it beat the fish? If I was a gambling man...
Looking at the mission, tooth and nail.
Mm.
And looking at the army on the tabletop,
Yep.
which list wins?
I would personally say, well, while we have a lot of kind of like range attacks from the Sisters of the Watch that can do that mortal wounds, the Idoneth can completely control where they go.
Yeah.
Idoneth you can only shoot Idoneth if they are the closest unit to that.
Sorry about the vertigo, if anybody's getting it. I think that was looking for a charge there.
Mm.
Sorry.
But no, the Idoneth can only be shot at by the closest unit to them.
Yeah.
So they can dictate where their shooting goes. So they could put just the unit of thralls to be a complete bait, just to absorb any range damage that happens that phase.
Yeah.
If I was a betting man, I'd still say this goes to the side of the Idoneth. I think if it's done well, the Sharks and the Leviathan just have too much output for the squishy cities to handle.
You think they'll go through them?
I would imagine they do.
Yeah.
I would heavily imagine they do. But you know what? I would quite like to see cities win. Simply because they've got less elves.
Sorry, I've got the players mic'd up in my ears at the moment, and I can just hear I can just hear Neil being like, I got it, because he won priority. The players haven't done that yet, but
yeah. So we see ending turn 1. Neil has the 5 VPs because he had the extra one from holding more.
Yep.
And obviously he wasn't able to get any of the objectives back from the Sharks, and there was simply no chance he was getting to that boat and getting that.
Yep.
So he's starting off on the back foot a little bit. Obviously, whoever goes first in this one does have that big advantage of getting to hold more until something's taken off of them.
You say big advantage. It's 1 VP. Now, I think one of the biggest traps that I would say the majority of Age of Sigmar players that haven't got a load of what we call reps in or games in, one of their biggest mistakes is that they're afraid to go behinds in turn 1 and 2 on objectives. Rather than putting themselves in a more advantageous position to be able to then do a counter-strike where is needed, and then turn 3 and 4 and 5 reclaim those VPs and more, I think people tend to they get a bit blindsided by I must get my VPs early. On an army that isn't particularly tanky, with like if you've got if you've got a relatively squishy army, it's
both of these armies are somewhat squishy. Idoneth have the tankiness in the Leviathan.
Yep.
But for an army, if you know how quickly these things are going to move as well, living cities aren't a particularly fast army. Nothing. They couldn't actually use their trait from the living city of being able to deep strike units this game because of the battle plan.
Yeah.
If they could have deep struck some of these units, it might have been a different story completely. They could have got onto that objective turn 1, and taken it back. But at this point, you know that living cities aren't moving up the board all that fast.
Yeah.
So there's no disadvantage of you taking that turn 1, just abandoning it, essentially. Because unless that dragon makes a big charge run roll, they're probably not going to get it.
I'm sorry. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, look at the modeling on the back of that model. Oof. Give me a second. Sorry, carry on, as you were.
So yeah, I don't think it was the wrong play at all. But we can now see that one of the Sharks has moved off to the side objective, just so he's still tagging the objective in. One of them's moving around so it can go and take up that top unit, and we can see the Thralls moving up slightly more. They're probably going to go and combat the Dryads. They do get a good bonus against multiple model units. And we'll just pull up the War Scroll to show you what they're capable of. So, We've got the Nomad Thralls. They've got 2-inch range, so they can attack in their 2 ranks. And they've got the 2 attacks each, 3s and 3s, -1/1. The champion has 1 more attack. And they're getting +1 to the attacks characteristics for each model because Dryads are a 1 wound characteristic unit. So they will be damaged 2 each. So it'll be good.
They're relatively reasonable. I think Nomadi's worst enemy are Stormcast Eternals when they've only got 2 wounds each, like on Vindictors and things like that.
They get no bonus.
They get no bonus, which massively hurts them. But what I think it is really nice is that it shows that the game developers, when they've written these rules, have had the idea of, right, there needs to be a weak spot. Sorry.
Yeah.
And the weak spot is that. So, there we go.
Right, so we see some shooting coming out from the Idoneth now. All the movement's done. We've taken off some of the Sisters of the Watch behind the Dryads.
Yep. Just in the ranks.
Yeah, that's going to be good for stopping the Unleash Hell potential. Take some models off. Take the mortals off. We've got more shooting going up there. Taking some more off. Each one of these Alapexes has a shooting attack, as does the Leviathan.
Yep.
And they're actually in incredible range for
I think
what they
they're
are.
24 inches, 4 shots, 3s, 3s, -1d3. Am I right?
Yeah, it depends which weapon they
24 inches, 4 shots, 3s, 3s, -1d3.
take. Yeah. It can pack a good punch.
You would never take the net launcher. Never.
I don't think there's...
You would never take the net launcher.
I would take the net launcher.
What? You're an idiot.
Can't make piling moves if you hit with it.
Yeah, but what? Why are you getting close enough to make it a problem? You should either be shooting them down with the razor with the harpoon,
It's a support piece at
and
that
then
point.
killing. Oh, yeah, but what?
Support piece.
It's 165 points of
A support
I'm
piece
sorry,
that
you
can then
can't
crash
pile
into
in.
combat.
No.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I disagree.
Always take the harpoon.
I
launcher.
disagree.
No. In fact, how many Idoneth lists? That's a really good point. Almost a seamless segue. How many Idoneth lists do we have here today? Well, let's have a look at these factions represent. Look at them populating there. We have 6 Idoneth Deepkin lists here today. I reckon none of them have got the net launcher.
I can find that out fairly quickly.
You can do that. Just search Control F net launcher. There you go.
Oh, well, it's... Okay, right. Sylvaneth, bringing it there. Okay, right, so it's 0. But the thing is, they're not understanding my meta.
So, just search Alapex for me. A-L-O...
I hope this is the only list with Alapexes in.
There's 12 units of Alapexes across the armies. And 50% of them are reinforced twice.
Yes.
So, out of the over 20 Alapexes, 6 unique players, not a single one has gone for your net launcher.
That's because
Explain.
they're net listing. Every single one of them.
Anything you want to do. Anything you want to do. All right, so let's take a really quick look at the stats before we jump back to the game. We have got 8 Maggotkin of Nurgle here this weekend. That is pretty huge. We've also got 7 Stormcast, 6 Idoneth, 6 Cities. They're our sort of top row. Our bottom dwellers are things like the Bone Splitters, Moor Tribes, Tzeentch, Gloomspite Gitz, Skaven, Bok, Cruel Boys, Slanesh, and Wat.
I am ecstatic that we even have 1 Bone Splitters player.
I know, it's fantastic.
Never seen Bone Splitters in a tournament this edition.
It's because
they're bad.
250 points.
It's
They get 250 points. Do you know what this has done, though? It's made this page really bare. Look at that.
This is my favourite page. Factions not represented, Lumineth.
I know,
honestly.
Right. Let's take a moment, right? Let's take a moment to just have a chat about that, right?
Yeah.
Lumineth Realm Lords.
Not represented.
Not even represented. Hang on. Alex, did you even comp Lumineth? You comped the Fox, right? That was it. On the Lumineth? Yeah. Just the Fox for Lumineth.
I know.
And there is no Lumineth players here. That is the one change we needed to see clearly.
Beautiful. If you could just take the Sentinels out of the book, really hit it home, and then I'll be happy. I have a massive disdain for every elf in this game.
For those of you that aren't aware, we have got the TO Alex at GhostArm on Twitter. He is sat just to our right, and we've stole his pulpit for the weekend. He usually sits in his nice little TO desk, but we've told him to get out of our house. This is now our place to live. So
we're not seeing Carriage on Overlords either. Would I like to see them?
No.
I
really like KO. Really like KO.
Let's get back to the game.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. The Lumineth Realm Lords not showing up is the
best thing.
Is quite a big one, actually. Quite a big one.
It's already made this a great tournament.
It's made it the best tournament here in the UK, whilst simultaneously being the biggest.
It's hard to believe out of 8 players there was not a single Lumineth.
Now, we have seen, going into Neil's turn 2, he was very lucky with a priority. He didn't give away a double turn. We don't know what battle tactic he's managed to pick. But we do have charges in there on the Dryad screen from the Alapex, from the Leviathan and the Thralls. I'm just going to go and update their battle tactic.
No. So, I would not imagine these Dryads live much longer. As we can already see, most of the unit is gone. We got to assume that was probably the Leviathan there, or they were getting 3 attacks each with their weapons on the Thralls, so they could have pumped out quite a lot of damage if they'd gotten the all-out attack or something like that as well. But they will certainly be fleeing to Bravery if they don't get command pointed, and that's going to leave quite a big hole opened up next turn, especially if the Idoneth get the priority again. Then obviously the Cities of Sigmar will move about, but they've got all of that nice big alleyway to go through. We've got broken ranks, so he is going to be trying to destroy that unit completely. Will they manage?
It's on the screen.
Yeah,
Broken
I've talked about it.
Broken
ranks.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're down to very, very low numbers on the Dryads.
Yep.
So it's just going to be interesting to see if we manage to polish that off, because that was a unit of 30 strong, so he's got to be pretty confident going into that.
Oh no, he's not broken ranks in that unit.
Oh
no, no. What we can't see, what we can see
was
from
it on
the top down,
unit?
it's that unit there, and the Alapex hasn't fought yet. So he sunk the shots from the Leviathan and the Alapexes into this unit, managed to get the Alapex over here to make a charge, and I imagine he's just going to ruin that unit.
Yeah, you'd imagine with their 5-up save, they are probably not surviving that Alapex's melee.
No, I think there's Rend 1 on his melee, so I think it's pretty simple, pretty efficient to say that they're probably dead.
Rend 2 on the bite.
Oh, okay.
3 attacks, 3s and 3s. So,
which you can make 2s and 3s if you really want to.
Yeah, it is unlikely that those sisters will survive, and
do you know what? If they do, I will be mighty impressed.
And this is the point. It's only turn 2, and I said I was pretty sure Idoneth were going to win. Already chewing through the big block of Dryads, and already chewing through a unit of the sisters. It makes it hard to think otherwise.
I think one of the biggest problems here is, as Neil said when I went over to the table, Steve's really got unlucky with the mission that we've got played here.
Yeah.
So we pick the matchup here before we know what the mission is, just because the mission is spun by a wheel here at Mancunian Carnage.
Best way to ever decide anything.
The exact same way they do it at the Warrior Lodge. So there's a wheel everywhere for everybody. So you roll the wheel, or spin the wheel, sorry, and then you find out exactly who gets what, where, and when, which is quite nice. But what it means is we can't choose a matchup dependent on how we think it's going to go to give us the best.
Right. And we can see that the Dryads are no more.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You know, the Thralls being able to go through them quite nicely makes a lot of sense.
It's a tough life to be in the Cities of Sigmar.
This particular, as I said before, list, I agree. It's
being able to outflank would have been quite nice for them.
It'd been huge.
Yeah, but it's hard to see, especially since we've got the Kernoths down the bottom. They have to get all the way around they have to get all the way around here before they can even attempt to do some damage. And they're not the fastest of things to start with.
They're not exactly short, small. The Dryads, they got an 8-inch move, haven't they?
No, the Kurnoths.
Oh, the Kurnoths, they only got 5.
Yeah, the Kurnoth and the Tree Lord. Obviously, the Wild Riders as a cavalry have a bit more to go on.
Yeah.
And looking at this position, and of course, before he moves next turn, they're going to have to currently pop one of those units at the Leviathan, one of the units at the Thralls.
Yeah.
Simply because of how the range restriction works.
Because that's the game.
Yeah, and now that he's lost a unit of the Sisters, I'm not entirely sure if he's going to be able to easily get his secondary objective for the extra 5 points as well. I mean, the Black Dragon does have a ranged attack, I believe. I believe it can spit on people.
What, just...
Yeah, he's got some acid breath.
Nice, what a man. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Can't sing anymore because I will get done for copyright. DMCA. Or YMCA, as some people like to say. So this is the Dreadlord on Black Dragon, right?
Yeah, this is the Dreadlord on Black Dragon. So he's got some noxious breath attacks. He's got 1 attack. And it's roll a dice for each model in a unit, any 6s or mortals. So he can still do it, but the second he starts losing if he loses another unit of the Sisters, then he's not going to be able to get his 5 points anymore.
So this is the extra secondaries from Alex. Okay.
Yeah.
For those that are just joining in, do you want to explain those again?
So everyone's got a sheet of like extra secondary objectives they can do each game.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick them in a specific turn. And in this game, the Idoneth player has picked slay your opponent's highest pointed Behemoth.
Yep.
Which only counts as 1. And then you've got the one that the cities have chosen. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Which is to inflict wounds with 3 separate units onto 1 unit.
That's pretty cool.
With a ranged attack. So obviously, if he keeps losing his ranged attacks, he's not going to be able to do it, which means the Idoneth would get an extra 5 points for denying that from the cities as well.
Yes, it could be a potential 10-point swing on the secondary
an extra 10-point
objectives.
swing for the extra secondaries.
That's pretty great. Now, obviously, on the overlays, we've not got those built in because I suck.
Yeah. And yeah, we can see that he obviously got broken ranks. There's no way that Elapex was not killing 3 Sisters.
Yeah. It was very unlikely that wasn't going to happen.
So now we've got Steve picking broken ranks as well. The Sharks are battle line. So do you know which unit he's picked?
I'm just trying to listen to the players. I believe it's this one up here.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Wait, you send the Black Dragon in, right?
Send the Black Dragon in. The Black Dragon is not the best in combat.
No, you shoot at it. Right?
Well,
so you get your extra 5 VPs by shooting at it.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget, he kind of doesn't want the Sisters to move as well. Because they will double their shots if they don't move.
Yes.
So that one unit that's behind the dragon, that'll probably get their double shots on it.
Yeah.
You'd hope with 20 shots, mortals on 6s, there's probably 3-4 mortal wounds already.
Reasonable.
Yeah, 3-4. And then Alapexes only have 8 wounds, I think.
Yes, that's correct.
So the dragon, even how incredibly mediocre it is in combat, for its 200-something points, should be able to do 4 wounds worth of damage. Just to show you what kind of stats we've got on that Dreadlord. So it is equipped with the Lance, which will have an extra point of rend because of the relic. So it'll be 3 attacks at 3s and 3s minus 2. Then you've got the Jaws, 3 attacks at 4s and currently it'll be 1s. So 2s. To do a win on that. And that's minus 2 and does 6 damage. D6.
So a potential 6. When you said 6 damage there, I'm like, oh no.
It should. And let's not forget as well, the Lance does get an extra point of Rend characteristic on the charge, and an extra point of damage on the charge, so it will be minus 3 to damage, which is actually pretty respectable.
It's not awful, is it?
And the Black Dragon has not gone towards that shark. It has gone towards the thralls.
Oh, there might have been contemplation on whether it was shark or thralls.
Okay.
How many CP is it to move an opponent's model?
Move an opponent's model?
Yeah. Sorry, I am just updating our battalion stats.
Okay.
Because we have over 150 battalions here. Believe it or not.
But no, it looks like realistic. I don't know what unit they've picked for Broken Ranks. But we can see the sisters moving towards that Alapex up there. I think it's risky to be leaving that Alapex up there, to be honest. Because if it doesn't die to shooting and the Idoneth get that turn, he's got that top objective.
Do you think he's possibly hoping for a double turn here?
I mean, he has to plan for the double turn, and I think the cities could really, really use the double turn here to be able to get back into the game.
The thing is, do you... I always have this sort of like dilemma whenever I play a game is, do I want my game plan to be, do I play for the double turn? Is that too swingy?
I think sometimes it's what you have to do. We've seen a redeploy, come out from the Alapex down the bottom, so that the Wild Riders won't get a nice sneaky charge on them.
Yep.
They, of course, do still have the ability to potentially charge the Gloomtide Shipwreck, which has all the garrison thralls in it, but in return, they will be attacked by every single thrall in that garrison.
Not just the ones in range?
Nope.
Because you measure from the garrison.
You measure from the garrison.
Welcome to Warhammer, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not good news if those Wild Riders go into there, unless the Wild Riders do a crazy amount of damage on the charge.
This is where they do like 900 mortal wounds.
I say it's not a scroll you see used very often, and just pulling up the things, I'm not incredibly encouraged by what I see. So there are the Wild Riders profile. So you got 5 of them in a unit. Hunting spears, 2 attacks each, 3s and 4s, -1/1. But they do go up to -2/2 on the charge.
That's relatively good. It's 10 dice.
10
threes.
attacks at 3s and 4s though. Take out 10 thralls.
Here's the question: is it better than a kick in the teeth?
It is, but you've also got to remember that those thralls are getting plus save and -1 to be hit because they're in a building.
Yes, but they lose their ward save because there would be an enemy unit within 3 of those.
They lose their ward save, but they get +1 to their natural save. And -1 to be hit.
Yeah.
I don't think they do enough damage to make that worth it, personally.
No, especially when you all out defense on them, right? Because then you can just nullify the rend completely.
Yeah.
Which is kind of huge.
Now we've got the Colonel swinging around, potentially going to charge into the back of the Leviathan. You never know, maybe the Wild Riders will do the same. Maybe they'll do a nice big pincer maneuver and really try and crack down on that middle ground. We can see the sisters going up again.
Trying to just, I don't know, the way that the terrain is set up is we've got a really nice alleyway here to be able to funnel. The problem is we've got the Alapex, the Leviathan and the Thralls being the roadblock, and that is a much bigger roadblock than the Dryads that Steve put up.
Yeah. Despite it being a nice big block, Dryads are made of wood. And they got cut down fairly quickly.
Fairly quickly.
It was unfortunate. If he had had the chance to maybe make some woods, Dryads get minuses, or no, they get a plus to save, I believe, off the top of my head, when they're near a wood.
Yeah.
Which may have helped them. Probably not. It might have reduced it from 30 to like 20 dead.
Yeah. Well, one of the interesting things here is, obviously, Neil's gone with Fufwain, not Northlayer. Now, Fufwain on the Idoneth Deepkin, Northlayer on the Idoneth Deepkin allows you to monstrously rampage with the Leviathan to make it rend -3 on its fins and bite, which is insane. Insane. But what are you gaining by taking Fufwain instead of Northlayer?
So you get the ability for Bloodthirsty Shivers. the Alapex unit. You don't get the Bloodthirsty Shivers if you're not Thuthwain.
Right. But is that really worth not having rend -3 on a tank?
Well, apart from that, at the start of the combat phase, you can pick one of your Bloodthirsty Shivers.
Yep.
And when you pick that unit, if any modified hit roll for an attack of that unit's bite is 6, it scores 2 hits instead of 1.
Yeah.
And the bite, of course, big attack for the Alapex. And then if they're kind of like in range of 2 or more units of Bloodthirsty Shivers, it becomes 3 instead of 2.
Yeah.
So it's a big explosion potential.
Do you think that's just so they could sell more models?
No.
I think we have the Bloodthirsty Shivers on the War Scrolls.
Yeah.
It's the same as a normal Alapex, otherwise, I believe.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
In fact, I think it is just verbatim, right? Oh no, you have to take
2. I think you have to take at least 2 in the unit.
It looked like that War Scroll said 3. Oh, I've got
the actual.
I've literally got the Idoneth Deepkin book here. I've also got it on my phone, so I should always just pull that up too. They might just be under Alapexes. There is no specific War Scroll for them.
Well, there you go.
You have to take a unit of 3.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, you have to take 3, which is 3 individual units.
3 individual units. So your old 40k style vehicle squadrons, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to take 3, but they are battle line.
Yeah. And you get
and they
to split
operate
off.
individually.
Yep.
Can I give you that back?
Yep. If your sharks were together, they'd be getting super bonus hits.
Super bonus.
Super bonus. Who doesn't want to absolutely... You got 3 attacks with that ferocious bite, right?
Yep.
You're going to get a 6. It's going to explode 3. You're going to get 666. It's going to explode into into 9 hits with that. Absolutely.
Oh, wait, it scores 2 additional hits.
It scores 2 additional hits if it's... Yeah, if it's near another one.
Oh,
It scores an additional hit if you're just by yourself.
Sorry, I've just realised I was trying to... I was trying to get this working and I couldn't. Right. I have to do some fandangling. Give me a second.
Lovely. So, what we're seeing in the meantime, we're seeing a little bit of measuring of the charge ranges come out. It doesn't look like too much was done in the shooting phase. We've taken 2 thralls off the board. Of course, if that's the broken ranks choice unit, because it doesn't look like the Alapex has taken any. There's no wound counters on that.
No. No.
So, we're just waiting to see where we go into for charging.
So, you know Carragon, or Tom, that usually joins us here on the commentary. One of he's infamous for 2 things. Number 1, attending every Age of Sigmar tournament you could ever hope for in the world. And number 2, finishing his games in record time. He has finished his game in 40 minutes.
Well,
he was playing against Ironjaws and beat him in turn 2.
Ooh.
You beat him turn 2. You're a bad man. Let the man play with his toys.
So, we've seen the Dreadlord roll a 4 on the charge, and he got into the thralls. We've also got the little tiny support assassin who rolled a 3 and got into the Leviathan.
Yeah. This is actually showing up way more information than it was before, because I realised when I turned it down, I'd turned it down globally, not just for me.
He is not having very good rolls on these charges at all.
Not unless you want to sit next to me. Happening.
So we've got another failed charge, or I believe it's a failed charge from the Dread Spears onto the Alapex.
Yeah, they were looking at the charge there, and they were just out, unfortunately.
So that's a 12-inch.
That's a double 6 on the Mancunian dice, yes. 1 second.
It was the Thralls.
The Namati in front of the dragon with a broken ranks target.
Yeah. I think that was fair to assume once we saw that the Alapex hadn't been targeted.
Yeah, it was a case of it was one of the two, and I chose poorly.
But it's hard to think again if the Idoneth get the next turn, that Alapex is probably just going to swing around onto their objective and take it. I mean, what's stopping it there? Again, 10 sisters, of which it's already much to unit.
Yeah. So the dragon breaks through. He's got to stay out of 3 of that turtle, so if he does get turn 2, he gets the option to be able to move the dragon anywhere he wants to.
No, we've made another one, another charge.
What we've got to remember, though, is that next turn, Neil will be fighting first with all of his units.
Yes. Regardless of who gets that turn.
Yep.
Is that a nice 11-inch charge on the Colonel?
That was what was required on the Kernoths, but there is, I don't know if that's... Yeah, that looks like an 11.
Yep. Or is that on the Wild Riders? No, it was on the Kernoths.
Yep.
So,
and this is a wonderful display of sportsmanship here. Neil's like, don't worry, you don't have to worry about coming around here. I will move the models for you.
Say, getting on this one. So at least the charge rolls are coming out in the second half. Fortunately, all the 3s and 2s-year-old or the 3s and 4s-year-old at the start were enough. But those are going into the Gloomtide Shipwreck.
The Element Games cat has appeared just in front of us. Cute. A very cute kitty. Very cute kitty. Anyway. So I think Steve's really got to make the most of this turn as much as he can.
Yeah, he needs to do a lot of work this turn.
And then I wonder if he backs away to prevent 2 turns of fighting first here from Neil and plays a bit more reserved. If possible. But there isn't a massive amount of stuff left. The Tree Lord is holding down that objective on the left-hand side, but it's really easy. For example, if that Leviathan makes his way out of combat, which I don't think is unforeseeable, he'll be able to just fly over here and take this objective on a congestion. Maybe get a charge this way if he needs to, and then. Although he's not Northlayer, so he won't get his. I
think we're seeing a stomp come out from the turtle.
They're just about to go into them right now.
Yeah, we just had some, or maybe it was Overwatch. Sorry,
that was an Unleash Hell. Yeah, so they're just going into monstrous rampages right now. They got the fat 11-inch charge that he needed down here.
Yeah.
The turtle is stomping the assassin.
Yeah, so the assassin took some damage on the way in.
For two damage.
2, he's alive on 1.
No, he's not, because he's already taken 3.
Oh, they were counting up. That is a shame, because the assassin can put out a decent chunk of mortal wounds.
It's a moderately okay amount of damage. I wouldn't say it's amazing.
I would say he is pretty good. So just for reference, what the assassin could have done if he didn't get shot off the board and stomped on by something that can't really even stomp.
No, it's not really got. It's got fins.
It should be called slap.
Yeah. It does D3 -1.
I mean, who doesn't love to slap an elf off the table? So he would have six attacks. 6s do D3 mortal wounds. Considering that the Leviathan has a 2-up save, that's probably the best way to start.
You do D3 damage to it on average.
Yeah, but that's, if he spiked some rolls, maybe he could have done a decent amount of damage.
I mean, if you spike rolls, you can do 18 wounds to it with an assassin. You could kill the turtle.
He's also 80 points.
Yeah.
Compared to the new Skaven boy. To the one in the Nether Maze box set. Yeah. Who has much near the same profile. For a lot more.
Speaking of box sets, chat, ! Battle box in the chat. If you want to win yourselves an Echoes of Doom box, there's all the details and information there. You can enter for free by emailing win.tothehobbyroom@gmail.com and put in the subject as Echoes of Doom win and put your Twitch name in the body of the email. or every donation of £5 and above to the stream in increments of, will get you 500 entries to the giveaway.
So it looks like we've got the Dreadlord going into the Thralls at this point.
Which we will be drawing tomorrow, just a heads up.
I thought we've used the command point for an all-out attack as well.
Yeah, you did.
Yep. So this will be... Is this the spear?
I don't know. I don't know what 3 dice is on his profile. I didn't hear either because I was trying to finish my sentence.
Yeah, 3 attacks with a lance. So this is at -3 rend, I assume, because of the relics.
Sounds about right. And this is the blade. Blade is that might have been the jaw.
The
first.
cat has come to visit. Hello, mate.
Hello, Puss Puss.
I love him. Well, that is as exciting as it's going to get all weekend for me. The cat has come to visit.
That's it. Screw Warhammer, we're striking a cat.
Absolutely. I mean, I do love cats.
I just hope it doesn't take down all of my stands.
No, he's going to sleep.
Behind the thing.
He's going to sleep behind the curtain.
Yeah, of course it is. Naturally, it makes
right,
sense.
so the Thralls are gone.
Most of them.
Most of the Thralls are gone so far.
There is a couple left. If we have a cheeky look at the close-up camera here, we can see that is the wrong...
We can see the tail of a Leviathan.
Yeah, we definitely can. I thought it was pointing the other way.
And he's gone.
I thought it was pointing the other way. That's my bad. Let's have a look at the right-hand side of the screen. There you go. You can see that there's 2 Thralls left.
2 Thralls left. Does he have anything else to come out of here?
I don't think so. I just think we're looking at Battle Shock here for Neil, but I believe he has a command point left.
That is going to be very sad for the cities if that doesn't happen.
I mean, that's the way it happens, right? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so we're on to the Leviathan now.
Yeah, choosing the hunters. In fact, let's go back to this one. No, this one. There you go. We're about to see some dead hunters, I think.
Yes. It is hard to imagine the Leviathan not doing a significant amount of wounds to these.
Yeah, I mean, it's got 6 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 1. It's got 4 attacks, 2s and 3s, -1, 4. And then it's got 2 attacks, 2s and 2s, -2, 3. It's spelt wrong. It's called the Lead Viadon.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't find it.
Have you not just looked to your right? I've already put
I
it
didn't
up.
know it was already on. There we go.
Yeah. We've both got the ability to put it on the screen, you know that.
Yeah.
I wasn't just remembering that off the top of my head, I was reading it off the screen.
Right. That's fine. So, yeah.
And then if you hit with the jaws, if you hit a 6 on the dice, it's 3 mortals instead.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit of pain here for the... definitely a bit of pain for the Kurnoths.
Yep, so these are the fins that are going in now, so 2s and 3s. Eight damage went through because he failed 2 of the saves.
Ouch. Ouch. That Leviathan is not going to be taking any damage in return.
Nope. You got a feel for Steve a little bit, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He's got an absolutely drop-dead gorgeous army.
I mean, to be fair, both armies look really nice. I like the Leviathan and that ancient ruins. Look. Takes away from that silly flying base that they attached in the kit.
I mean, they're only doing it for completion's sake here, but there was 3 mortal wounds that came through on the jaws. It was pretty simple from then on out.
Yeah. 4 Kurnoth Thunders. And unless these Thralls do flee to the Battle Shock, it's going to be really, really harsh on the cities here. So we'll have the Wild Riders going into the garrisoned Thralls.
Yep, which makes sense. You know, you got 10 attacks at Ren 2. They're probably going to all-out defense if they've not already. In fact, I don't think they have. I think they have already all-out defensed.
Yeah, I'd assume that they probably put the all-out defense on the first unit of Thralls to, you know, obviously try and deny the broken ranks.
Yeah, makes sense. Give me a split second. That's only for us. That's not for them.
No, it made a weird sound when you lifted that up.
I know. Technology.
So, are we going to do any major damage down here? So we've got a total output of potential of 10 or 20. 20 if everything fails and everything hits.
I reckon there is 8 that go through. 4 dead so far.
Yeah, then we've got the
Stacks.
hooves.
Yeah.
The hooves of the walls.
They always tend to do more, don't they?
Always. It would not be the way.
Sports Direct. Sorry. Hooves, brought to you by Sports Direct.
Don't forget, Bone Splitters, the pigs are better than the riders, especially when buffed. So it's definitely true in their case, but it always feels like the mounts do a bit more than the riders.
Yeah,
So it looks like another one came off there for
Yep.
Yeah. So we took off 5? Yeah, 5. 5 of the thralls in the boat. So now we got the 2 thralls going into the dragon.
5 at Rend 1. Oh, poor dragon. How does it feel to be outfought by some soulless elf?
I don't know if they've got a lot of souls. That's what they do. They take them.
Yeah.
But you got to consider he is an elf on there as well, so he is also soulless.
No. Difference is he has a soul.
Do they though? So he took 1 damage off of the 2 thralls.
Yep.
I've got fibre.
Fibre? Is that what it said?
Yeah. So this will be the 5 thralls going on the Wild Riders, I assume?
Yep. See how many they can take out?
4 wounds.
Red 1.
Rend 1, I think they're only saved fibre?
3 of them.
Yeah, so 1.5 dead.
One and a half dead. It is unfortunate when you've got such a beautiful army and the rules just aren't.
Yeah. Let's say it's a very thematic Living Cities list. It's nice to see something that does play more to the theme of the cities rather than, hey, I'm living cities, I'm all about, respecting nature. Here's 30 Iron Drakes.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, Steve's going to hold 1, hold 2, but he's not getting hold more, and he's not getting his battle tactic this turn either.
Yeah. He really, really needs to see the prio here.
Okay, he sees the prio this turn. What does he do? What's his battle tactic for a start?
It's more the fact of if he doesn't see the prio, he's dead.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead anyway.
Yeah, but at least he can still try and pull off some damage.
Why?
He can shoot these Namati off the board, free up the dragon.
For what? A charge? Because you shoot after you move.
Yeah, but
why are you charging?
Rely on.
Why? It fights first.
Oh yeah, it's turn 3.
Remember, it's turn.
Yeah, it's turn 3. It's high tide. Yeah.
That's why.
Okay. In which case, you take the prio, and you do run 3.
Yeah, ferocious advance, and you
3,
retreat.
Retreat everything into a bubble, and pray that you don't get absolutely walloped in the second half.
Like, so Neil got the. Neil got the priority. Obviously, took it, and then let Steve go.
Yep. So we've burned the objective, as is in the rule pack. Turn 3, the player that goes second can choose an objective to burn.
Do we think that will change in the new season?
We're still in Gur. So
doesn't matter. They might change it. They could change it. We're in a different part of Gur.
To be honest, I think most people forget about the rule anyway. In general gameplay, not in like the hyper-competitive events where obviously people remember every single rule. I think a lot of people forget that they've got the chance to burn the objectives turn 3.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Just like I'm sure most people don't remember that there's a exclusive spell and exclusive command ability that everyone can use.
The spell is phenomenal. Make yourself a
Turn
monster.
yourself into a monster, and a monster fights at full profile for the command ability,
which is huge.
Which is actually really nice.
It's insane. The turn yourself into a monster thing. Oh baby, I did it when last weekend. I think it was last weekend. I was at a team tournament. I was playing against some Seraphon. I'd lost the game already, so I decided to have some fun. So what I did was I had a Lord Relictor, who had a teleporting thing, and I had Knight Incantor. So I made the Knight Incantor a monster, teleported him over 9 inches away from the Realm Shaper engine with the Relictor, which had a Skink Priest in, made my 9-inch charge, and monster to rampage the the Realm Shaper with the Knight Incantor.
Nice. So what was the rest of the list? Was it your traditional long strikes and...
It was 6 long strikes, Kazari...
In a 1-drop battalion, yeah?
No.
Oh, okay.
In a 4-drop.
Okay.
Because it was a team tournament and we couldn't all take a 1-drop.
I see. It's those... I don't know how I feel about those kind of rules in the team tournament, because in a way, I think the battle regiments are really bad for the game at the moment.
Yeah.
Because everyone takes them, because most people want that advantage of going first. And having that 1-drop. There are some armies where it is impossible to have a 1-drop.
Yes, just because they don't fit into the makeup of the battalion, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's... I don't like I just don't like battle regiment.
I mean, okay, let's have a look at the stats for the battalions here this weekend.
Yep.
What a segue. Over 81 registered list. There's only 77 players that have turned up due to illness and things like that, unfortunately, but it's the way it is. Over 81 registered list. There were 152 battalions, right?
Yep.
That is nearly 2 per list.
Yep.
And nearly a third of them, basically a third of them, were battle regiments.
Yeah. And then you can see right under Hunters of the Heartlands for the ones that aren't in battle regiments.
Yep. So if you're not in a battle regiment, you're Hunters of the Heartland. And if you're not a Hunters, you're a Warlord for the extra artifact.
And if you're not in a battle regiment and you're a Mega Gargant, you're in Boss of the Stomp, which is a 1-drop deployment.
Or an artifact. And every single one of these bosses of the Stomp have taken the extra artifact.
Yeah. I mean, on a low model count army, you're probably going to be...
You're 4-drops anyway.
Yeah. You may as well make your Gargants as efficient as possible by giving them extra stuff.
Yeah.
You don't really need to go first on Gargants. Not massively.
Sorry, Alex has just referred to our live stream as high-quality waffle, which is brilliant. I love it.
Something.
But yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I truly believe Battle Regiment is bad for the game.
Welcome to the state of the game. Okay,
but what would it be? What would you do to remedy it? Would you cut down the amount of things that can go in a Battle Regiment and turn 3 drops into 1? Because then is anyone going to use it?
I'd reduce the amount of models that you could have in it. Yes, definitely. Or I would stipulate that no unit can be more than 200 points or something like that. So it means you'd have to take a cheap hero. Yeah. And then cheap squads, maybe.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Crypt Shadow.
It's a hard thing to balance, isn't it?
And that's one of the things with so many different armies. I think is there 14 different factions? No, way more than that.
A lot more.
There is this plus 2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 20, 26, 28. 28 independent factions.
Not including sub-allegiances.
Yes.
28 factions in the game. You've got 28 factions, you've got 12 missions at this points level. We have a close-up battle going on here between a dragon and a king.
The Nomad Prince and the Leviathan, a dragon and 2 trolls. I'm sure that Achillean king will be going into that dragon and absolutely
ruining it,
decimating.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd have to assume that it's probably gone with its finest hour, happiest day. Probably not going to be its happiest day, even with that.
Wouldn't surprise me. I'm going to go and close the curtain so we reduce the glare on the screen. So I'll be right back.
Right. So,
Moog, question.
Yep.
Obviously, we've seen the Alapex go into the unit at the back and try and claim that objective.
Yep.
Do we think it's a whitewash clean here for Neil this turn against Steve?
I don't think it'll be a complete whitewash because that Tree Lord is not getting in combat. Will it get to the point where I think this is unwinnable for Cities of Sigmar at this stage? Absolutely. I think coming out of turn 2, where he unfortunately didn't manage to kill that battle line unit of Thralls and get the tactic, spelled major disaster. And likewise, Leviathan managing to chomp on that unit of Kernoths before they got the chance. Again, just dreadful for the cities, unfortunately. As I predicted, the Alapex did go to that top objective. He'll claim that because there's only 3 Sisters of the Watch on that, and he's worth... Actually, no, he's not worth that amount yet. You can see that some Nomadi have just appeared on the board up the top, so no, we'll claim that objective regardless. But even without that, if the Alapex charged in and managed to get onto the Sisters of the Watch, they're not solving that. They would get their free shots at him for charging into the combat, but is it going to do enough to realistically matter? No, they can't kill him on the charge, and he will take that unit with him. And regardless, now those Thralls up top will just hold that objective, so he can be reckless and charge in. The second Alapex that's on the hill will obviously come down into the Dread Spears.
Yep.
They will not survive. They're not that tanky. They're cities elves. They haven't got much going for them. The only thing that will survive this turn is the Tree Lord.
Yep. Yeah, because and simply because nothing's in combat with it.
Yeah.
Slay the Warlord was chosen, obviously, as well, so that's definitely everything going into that general.
It is hard to imagine the the Nomad Prince surviving.
And to add insult to injury here, right? To add some level of insult, we have got some... Sylvaneth have teleported over here from his army, his 80-point allies.
I said that they were Nomadi. I forgot that he had a unit of teleporting elves. Yeah.
Yep. So they're over there with the Alapex, which secures that. The Emerald Life Swarm has come out to heal the Leviathan.
Yeah.
Or the Leadviadon.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
I do forget about Spike Revenants having the completely free teleport to anywhere on the board
for 80
on their
points.
War Scroll for 80 points.
It's such a good 80-point ally for an Order army if you can have it.
Yeah.
If you have the points to spare, it could be a free objective taker.
A good amount of Order armies can just have Sylvaneth allies as well, so it's not...
I'd argue it's one of the best War Scrolls in the book, but not for the book, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a great ally. One of the best allies you can get in Order, without a doubt. It's like, do I think an 80-point unit should have a free teleport? Probably not.
Probably not. Should it be 120? Probably.
Should it be at least 100? Yes.
Yeah. 20 points a model. Sounds right. I mean, they have only got 1 wound and a 5-up save.
Even to them just being in the back corner of the board where no one can get to them, you can't leave an objective. You simply have to leave something at the back. So for 80 points, they've denied something.
Yeah.
Incredible. But not in Sylvaneth.
It's
until they potentially get a new book.
Well, yes, until they are potentially getting a new book with Echoes of Doom box coming out soon. It would indicate that there is a new book coming for them. Yeah, because there are a couple new War Scrolls, like the Lady of Vines and the Flutter Fly.
Yeah, that they've been showing
boys.
off on the community.
Yeah, they're available on Warhammer Community to see right now. And if you want to win an Echoes of War box, you can enter by !battle box in the chat to get a list of all the details. It is £5 an entry for 500 tickets. Ooh. Or if you every donation of £5 and above will give you more incremental entries. Or you can email in for free to win.thehobbyroom@gmail.com and put your subject title of Echoes of Doom win and your Twitch name in the body of the email. I'd implore you all to email in at least. Yeah, there you go. You want to win some Warhammer? And it supports the stream. So there you go.
Right. So, in the meantime, Alapex has made a charge down bottom into the remaining Wild Riders.
Makes sense.
Alapex at the top failed its first charge, rolled a 3. re-rolled and got into the Sisters of the Watch.
Yep, and has killed quite a lot of them on shooting.
And then this Alapex just above the dragon also got a 3-inch charge. There's been a lot of 3-inch charges this game.
Yeah.
Got into the dragon, and then
yeah, well,
we're just seeing where this Alapex can go.
Sorry, that's I didn't mean to interrupt you there. The dragon was in combat with the thrall, so he couldn't make a redeploy or anything like that. So it was unfortunate there. But yeah, I think Slay the Warlord, you're probably going to see a dead dragon this turn. You're fighting first across everything. The best you can hope is for a roar or a stomp on something. Although I believe, let us take a really cheeky quick look at. That's Steve's list, sorry. Neil's list, there we go. You actually have the units of Thralls and the Tree Revs are in Hunters and everything else is in the battalion. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the King just did some impact hits on the way in and did 2 mortals to the Nomad.
Yep. The Deep Mare is ridiculous for that. Now, also because of the Deep Mare where it is, he gets affected by this tied with his Relic. Because he is within 3 inches of 2 units, he gets +4 attacks to all of his profiles.
Yeah, and this is where we're going to see the what is essentially the linchpin of every Idoneth army.
250 points, a command trait, a relic, an mount trait. Yeah.
So we've seen the Wild Riders are gone.
Yeah.
Not surprising because every unit of this Idoneth is fighting first.
I assume that was the Alapex that went first. How do you feel about a whole army fighting first?
It's elves in it.
I would have preferred it if they'd have said 3 units can fight first. Or D6.
Maybe I don't
but
know.
Not a whole army. I think the whole army kind of just kicks it in the nuts a little bit.
Then you've got to consider as well that you've got the other abilities that can power it up even further, like getting I think it's Nomad units, if you give the extra bonuses to High Tide, get a 5-up ward that turn as well.
Look at these armies. Look at this, though. We saw the absolutely gorgeous display from Steve of his cities, and then we've got an equally gorgeous display from Nelly or Neil here with his Idoneth. Look at the mottling on the skin, the highlights on all of that sort of all the scaling.
Yeah, all the blues meld really well together in that Achillean King.
Yeah.
And then you've got the nice contrast of you've still got a nice blue base, keeping it like in that underwatery blue water theme.
Blue.
And then you've got the nice little contrast of those pink tusks.
Yep.
Along with the orange, it gives it that nice bit of spot colour.
Yep.
It's an army that really works really well.
Yeah, it is absolutely gorgeous to see them there on the tabletop. What, you've got a sad face for, Alex? That's just your face. Okay, fair play. And we can see now the Achillean King has piled in and is going with his. I think he's got a 3-inch reach on that. Going straight into. Sorry, a 2-inch reach on that. Going straight into the unit in front of him to just decimate him.
The Nomad Prince is gone.
Yeah.
Not a surprise.
Was the Nomad Prince the Warlord?
I believe the Nomad Prince is the Warlord, yes. Yep. He is the General.
A nice, easy...
So, did he do it with the Leviathan, or did he do it with the...
He did it with the Leviathan, so he gets an extra VP.
Extra VP.
Because he did his battle tactic with a monster.
Yeah. And then...
Sorry. Neil messed up.
Yeah?
Because he killed the king with the Leviathan first.
Yeah.
Because he killed the Nomad Prince, with the Leviathan first, the Achillean King loses 2 attacks on all of his profiles because he's no longer within range of it.
I don't think he's going to need it.
Oh no!
So yeah,
hello.
He gets less attacks, but does it matter? Dare
Probably
I say no?
not. Yeah, probably not.
Unless these saves come through well.
I mean, it's a reasonable amount of saves. He's still going, just.
He's still got to absorb the 2 Thralls and Alapex as well. And we got to assume that he's made one of these Alapexes ET and potentially score extra hits. Yes. I didn't even notice the units of Sisters of the Watch go up the top.
Oh yeah, I don't even think they rolled the dice. So Neil managed to shoot the majority of them off. I think he only left 2 in there, and Steve just sort of looked at him and went, "You're gonna kill them." So he just took them off, and there's a wonderful display of acknowledgement of exact. I mean, it is dice. You could spike or tank all your dice, but
realistically, what's going to happen the turn after? He moves away. He then gets shot.
Yeah,
and killed again. So the dragon's gone.
Yeah.
And it was
7 VPs this turn.
Yeah, because he got another one for killing a monster. And he gets the extra 5 for completing his own. He counts as 1.
Yeah. There should be a... Yep, there you go. Look at that. 7 VPs.
Yeah.
Look at all the pills on the battle on the table. Look how many there are. There's too many on the overlay.
Yeah. So not only has he got his 5 for doing his extra bonus secondary objectives for this, the one that they've given for this event as well.
He's denied 5.
He's denied 5 from the enemy and gained 5 for denying it.
Oh, you gain another 5 for denying.
You gain another 5 for denying them. So he's got an extra 10 points this battle.
VPs or TPs?
I will have to clarify.
Right, do you want to pass me that sheet and I can have a cheeky look through them? So, oh, Jesus, careful. So use 1 on the cross it off. Gain 5 for scoring yours, gain 5 for denying theirs. Wow, that isn't crazy. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Hang on. Let me turn you back up. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so just to clarify, that is by a per-game basis, not by tournament points.
So it is 5 BPs, not TPs.
Yeah.
So it's you could potentially have a win more, or it could be a clutch decider. So not only have you got your grand strategies, you've also got the secondary objectives.
Yes.
Which is quite nice.
No, they're an interesting addition. It'll be interesting to see over the tournament how many players manage to deny and to see how much really it affects the results.
Yeah.
Because you think of ways to develop Age of Sigmar and what else can be done. These secondary objectives, whilst we've got the your battle tactics and such, maybe they could use a bit more expanding on. I mean, as we go along, obviously, every faction gets more battle tactics via tomes, be it white dwarf things.
Yeah.
Some more manageable than others.
Definitely.
But if you've got more absolutely generic ones, and especially the aspect of denying people other ones as well. Obviously, even with the normal ones, you're going to be trying to deny your opponent getting theirs anyway via movement and stuff. Realising what they've done this game already and then positioning yourself around.
Yeah, naturally. Hiloth, that is indeed Moogie Pies joining me here on the commentary desk. For those of you that are joining in for the first time today, hello everybody, my name is Ben. This is Moog. How you doing, Moog?
Moog.
And we are streaming the UK's biggest Age of Sigmar tournament this weekend here at the Mancunian Carnage, run by the wonderful Alex, or at Ghost Arm, over on Twitter. They very kindly let us come and stream here from Element Games. We are very accustomed to this because we've done a lot of Purple Sparkle Unicorns events here, and ran events here as well. But what it means is that we've got the ability to be able to bring you guys at home that couldn't make Worlds or Birmingham GT or this tournament. We can bring you some content so you can sit nice and comfortably and you can make your way in here. Why not? That is Twitch. Yes, that's what we're on. Twitch.tv/The Hobby Room.
Yeah. Right, so there isn't much more to really say in this in this turn, is there?
No, I think with only the Tree Lord relevant. Oh, sorry, he has a unit of sisters. I think they might have redeployed.
It's the Dread Spears, I think.
Oh, Dread Spears. Should we go to the close? Should we go to close out?
Yeah. I mean, all the action has been perfectly framed by the players.
Yep. Oh, look at that! Look at the paint job! Oh, it's insane. There's a charge coming in from the Tree Lord. Got a 3 at least. Turn it around. Go on. Or is that the Dread Spears going?
I do just love all the stippling.
Yes.
All those different blues and aquas.
It looks pretty.
Yeah, that's how you do There's not many times I'll compliment an elf, but that's a nice paint job.
Yeah.
It almost makes me want an Alapex. We can get rid of the riders on top. We'll replace them with Skaven.
Yeah, that's fair. How does the Tree Lord's fight last work? Doesn't he have an ability to make something fight last?
Yes, he does have an ability to make something fight last.
Is it not his roots or something? Let's have a look at the Tree Lord.
Yeah, but that'll be cancelled out by thing. So it'll be the charger that gets.
So it should be the Tree Lord that fights first.
Yes, unless he also charges the Dread Spears in which case it'll be back to normal essentially with the Tree Lord first, and then he picks first.
Yeah,
and then the Alapex would go afterwards.
Ground Shaking Stomp. On a 4-up, it fights at the end of the combat phase. That's actually massive. Did he stomp? Oh, he did. You stomped on him. Yep.
He's dead.
And just absolutely went through him.
Well,
absolutely went through him.
There we go. That's a dead shark.
That is indeed
dead shark.
A dead shark.
So
the Dread Spears, I think, were dead, by the way.
Oh, they were. Oh no, there's one little guy left.
Oh, one little tiny Dread Spear. In fact, is that even the Dread Spear? Is that not one of the heroes that are left?
It might be the Sorceress.
It might be. It could very well be the Sorceress.
Oh no! The Dread Spears are fighting the Tree Revenants up the top.
Oh, they are. Yep,
yeah,
they are.
They're just in a little dark spot.
Well, if they stay there and manage to kill a couple, that'll be an objective back there for Steve. He has taken Conquer this turn.
Yep.
Obviously, with only 3 units left on the board, allocated that one at the top. Why would you not? If he gets it, he will hold 1, hold 2, hold more this turn.
Mm-hmm. And then if he gets Prio into turn 4, he will hold 1, hold 2 more next turn as well.
Yeah, definitely the potential.
What does he do apart from that? Ferocious Advance if these units leave.
If he's only got 3 units, I think he has to Ferocious Advance, right?
Yeah.
Or he could Aggressive Expansion, because he already controls 2. Not on his board, territory.
I don't know if that one's wholly within the territory.
Should we have a cheeky look at the mission?
Yeah, bring the mission back up.
Let's have a look at our mission. Tooth and Nail. It is in his territory.
Yeah, so he can't aggro expansion.
So for those of you that aren't aware or haven't played Age of Sigmar before, these coloured sections here signify the territories for the players. And if an objective is in the territory, like these two are, it means you can't do one of the battle tactics called Aggressive Expansion. However, you can catch it on these two.
Yeah, but obviously coming into turn 3, he destroyed one of them.
He did.
As is in the Gur rule pack.
Yep. Why would you not? If you've got the opportunity to, go ahead and do it, right? Such a shame, though. Such a shame.
So he has hold 1, hold 2, hold more. He managed to kill 1 or 2 Tree Revenants.
With non-dead.
Yeah.
No deads on the Dread Spears in return.
So if he does the run, he can't do the run tactic because one of them's in combat now. Who gets the prio? The Sylvaneth need it to get the points back.
A 5 and a 4. Steve!
So the living things do have the prio.
Finally got a priority.
Which they needed.
I mean, what? You could broken rank. Oh, you can't because he's already broken ranks.
What else can he do here? Slay the wall.
I mean, it's not fighting first. The Tree Lord could do some damage to it, potentially.
He could try and kill a monster.
Nope.
No, I just mean for the 1VP.
Oh. Well, if you're going to try and kill a monster for the 1VP, you might as well bring it down.
Unless you just want to go through Arelapex's monsters?
Nope.
Oh, crikey.
It's only the Leviathan.
Yeah, it's unlikely that the Tree Lord is is killing the Leviathan, but you know what? At this point, do it as a Hail Mary.
He's gone to slay the Warlord. Because, and I quote from Steve, I don't know what else I can do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What's turn 4 for Idoneth? So they've lost their tide. I think it's retreat and charge, maybe?
Yes, it is, I believe. Or is it retreat and run and charge? Tides of Battle.
Tides of Death.
So we've just gone through the high tide, which is fight first.
Tide. Retreat and shoot and charge.
Retreat and shoot or charge.
Yeah.
Shoot or charge.
Yeah. Okay, so
yep.
I would love to see this tree man absolutely go through this guy.
Look at this fight, Waddle. But there's going to be a redeploy, I imagine, unless he stayed out of 9 inches.
1 inch redeploy.
A 1 inch redeploy.
I mean, every little helps. That's certainly my average on redeploy rolls.
So it's now an 8 inch charge
Mm.
here for the Tree Lord.
Right, come on.
Yeah, I believe that's the one, Jay Bentley. The ritual, I believe that was the ritual. You can just see the Tree Lord looming and my bundle of cables there wonderfully at the back. I just hope the Tree Lord's going to fill that lovely spot and make this charge. In fact, if I was Neil, I'd just say he auto-made that charge, right? Wouldn't you?
I would certainly love to see it happen. Come on. I can feel the double one.
And I can feel it CPing into a double one too.
That would be his luck this game.
Shooting here then from the Tree Lord Ancient. He's got the Doom Tendril Staff.
Can he shoot into the Prince? He has to shoot into the Alapex, surely.
Oh, of course he does. God damn, I don't know. I really dislike the elves. Just not being able to play the game at all is very annoying.
It's a thing across Elven factions, isn't it?
Not being able to play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how...
I believe, what are your two Age of Sigmar armies? Don't you have an elf army?
I do have an elf army, yeah.
Hypocrite.
Sorry, people were just asking me if you're going to be able to watch these back. Yes, you are. It's completely free to watch the videos on demand here. We don't charge. You don't have to be a subscriber or anything like that. If you want to help support the stream, you are more than welcome to do so at your own leisure. You can either do so by donating, subscribing, cheering. If you want to win yourself a battle box, the Echoes of Doom one, exclamation mark battle box in the chat. Every donation that you make towards the stream does give you entries to be able to win that tomorrow, and that will be happening tomorrow.
It looks like a 9-inch charge was had.
Yep, which is perfect. It's exactly what you need to be able to go into this Prince here. You're going to be sinking everything here from the Tree Lord. He's only got 4 dice to do it with.
Watching eagerly.
Oh, I don't think it happened. Oh, these are 5? Yeah, these are 5 attacks back. Oh, no, do you know what the king did?
Did he turn it to high tide with his command ability?
Yep. He made D3 units go into the high tide command, only himself, I believe.
If he had stomped and made it fight last, he still would have gone first. Because they cancel
I think
each other
he
out.
tried to stomp, but failed.
I mean, it is on a 4-up. It is a nice, interesting mechanic to put on something like a Tree Lord. I mean, there's not much that bestows fight last on other units. You've got the Endless Spell from Beast of Chaos.
Yeah.
I don't know if Slanesh... I feel like Slanesh might have something that does it, but hopefully that hasn't bracketed the Tree Lord down.
No, that was an Unleash Hell. From the Leviathan. Because it's 8 dice, and it 4s and 3s on an Unleash Hell minus 1d3.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. D3 units.
1.
7 wins left on the Tree Lord.
Come on, Tree Lord.
Yeah, okay. So, Steve... The players are just discussing now what order it happens.
What, the fight first, fight last?
Yep.
So the way I believe it works is...
It's the player whose turn it is chooses what order things happen.
Yeah, because they cancel each other out.
Correct.
And then the player whose turn it is, so the charge happens, so the Tree Lord will go first regardless, even with the ability.
No, so the point is, Niels uses command ability at the start of the combat phase.
Mm-hmm.
Steve's ability is also at the start of the combat phase.
Yeah, it'll start with the Tree Lord first, because it's his phase.
Nope. The controlling player chooses the order for simultaneous effects.
Well, he can choose it, but why would you choose the king to go first?
No. The ability to go first, because at the moment, Neil can choose any unit within 12 to make fight first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He hasn't. He didn't declare who he'd chosen yet. So there's no point Steve stomping until he knows who's fighting first. Because then he'd be able to stomp on somebody who's fighting first instead and cancel them out.
Mm-hmm.
And then protect himself. And then go into the fight phase and then fight with the Tree Lord first. But at this point, it's a case of if he makes the Leviathan fight first, is Steve even in...
Sorry.
Is Steve even in range to be able to stomp him? The answer is no, because it's a 1-inch range.
Is the Leviathan within 3 to be tagged in?
I believe so. I don't know. I don't think they would be questioning it if it would be any other way. But give me half a tick. Yeah, he is just within 3, I believe. It is within. Oh, it is within 3 inches. So if he can pile in and hit.
Yeah. So whichever unit he picks, he's got a 50% chance of cancelling it out.
Yeah. And here is, I believe it did go off, and he did manage to stomp.
Good. That's what we like to see.
Is that a Tree Lord or is that Durthu?
That's it's just a Tree Lord,
Okay.
Basic Tree Lord. Not even the Ancient.
Oh. What? Finest hour also on the on the king, unfortunately, which means that there is no that +1 save and all that defense cancels out any rend, and now it's everything back into the Tree Lord.
You hate to see it.
You do. However, I can't help but think, what order did they do the start of action phase at the very beginning? Did Steve choose his battle tactic before he made heroic actions happen? And if he did, he should have done the heroic action first to try and pull out the finest hour. Sorry, not give away that he needs the finest hour on the king. Because for those of you that aren't aware, heroic action happens as a pair. And whoever's turn it is controls the order in which things happen. So, you would... Oh, let's go back to the close-up. I forgot we'd got this wonderful shot here before it gets removed. Yeah, so if you do heroic action, your opponent must then do their heroic action. Then you can choose a battle tactic.
The question is, even without that, would the Tree Lord have been able to get all that damage through? Because he's been bracketed. He has 2 attacks with his Staffy Sword.
D6 damage each if he gets it through.
-1 rend against the king. It's unlikely. On average, if we say that that's 7 damage from those 2 attacks, and then... In fact, no, sorry, the Impale is only on the one above. So it's an average of 7 damage, maybe 10 if he's on a 16% chance.
No, I was looking at the D6 damage of the sweeping blows.
Oh yeah. I feel like it's unlikely that it would have killed it. He needed to be at full profile for the 4 swings, ideally.
Yeah, but there's a command ability in Gur that lets you fight at full profile.
What's giving it to him?
Himself. He's
not.
Is he not a hero?
Nope. He's a behemoth.
Oh, well, it'll be the hero that stood not too far behind him then.
It's only a 12-inch, wholly within 12, and it has to be done at the start of the combat phase.
It might have been. At the start of the combat phase before a pylon, potentially.
No, I don't feel like that would have been in range, wholly within 12.
Right.
If it was a totem, maybe. Because totems can give it 18.
No, that would have wholly within 12, because that is 6 there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's double that.
There we see the handshake come out. The Tree Lord is dead.
he would have easily been within 12 to be able to do that. Easily. Because you got to think that's 6 inches. That's about the same distance. And then the same distance again is...
It would have been close.
No, there's no contention. I can guarantee you that would have been in 12.
I will go gravitate measure and measure it.
Go ahead. Yeah, let's do it. I reckon there would be definitely space within 12. I think the players have actually called it turn 4, and they're just going to speak it out now.
Yeah.
Because the only things left are these little guys up here. What is that?
I'll be back in a second.
Yeah,
Let me.
That's fine. You go ahead. That is the sorceress. Yeah, it's been unfortunate. I think he's going to try and prove himself right now. Go ahead. Ask them if he was wholly within 12. Ask them if he was wholly within 12. Yeah, Moog's just gone off to try and prove himself a point. Is Moog okay with being up north? No. He keeps taking the mick out of my family's accents. It's grim. Get wrecked, eat your words. Sorry, it was happily within 12. Yep. There we go. Sorry. Apologies about that, chat. It is sweet to be correct. It's not my first rodeo. I know how to see stuff top down. Sorry. Was it within 12 Moog?
It was not within 12 millimeters.
No, but it was wholly in 12 inches, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't think we've got any video proof of that.
Oh, mate.
It's deceptive looking down on it. It's hard to judge.
It's one of the benefits of... Obviously, I did this when I worked for Games Workshop on the live streams, and I've done multiple tournaments. In fact, I think I've streamed every tournament that we've done here at the Hobby Room, which is like 8 or 9 now. Which means that, I've got the perception of where things are, measurements, and that sort of stuff. So it's, I knew it was 12, within 12. It was just a case of, did you believe me?
It was literally right on the cusp.
Yeah, but it was definitely in it. So it was absolutely fine.
Right on the cusp. Am I okay with being up north? Being up north? Everyone's got an accent.
I pulled him out of his depth. He's not liking it. Now, even though Steve only has a sorceress and a couple of dread spears left, right? Even though there's only a sorceress and a couple of dread spears, what are they trying to show us? This wonderful shark. Look at it. It's beautiful.
It is.
Steve has managed to, on turn 4, go into only being 2 points down. Yes, Neil's got a turn in hand, but...
Let's not forget the 10 extra points from the secondaries.
Yeah.
But if this was if the pack didn't include this, would it have changed either way that they fought? Probably not. Because he was always going to kill the dragon.
Yeah.
And obviously he never had a chance to
shoot anything.
Shoot the stuff because Idoneth makes it hard. So in terms of being a relatively close game, all things considering, in a traditional game of Age of Sigmar, yeah, this is pretty close.
Yeah, relatively. Oh, the waypipe's coming out. I would say, remember, Neil has got a turn in hand. He's going to get hold 1, hold 2, hold more this turn. I'd be surprised if not. He'll get whatever battle tactic he's chosen. I assume it's Conquer, or even Aggressive Expansion. And whichever one he doesn't do this turn, he'll do the other one next turn. Although he should you would do Conquer this turn and Aggressive Expansion next turn. And then he'd start to run away with it. Get his grand strategy, which is hold the line. I don't think there'll be anything left for Steve here at the end of it.
Oh, no, with that.
It's going to be... It is unfortunately going to be a downhill battle here for Steve, but it means that he'll be able to do what we call a submarine. Now, if you aren't... if you don't play in Warhammer tournaments at all, a submarine is notably you lose your first game intentionally, right?
But with high points.
Yeah. Because then you can just have 4... You can be the pair down for all the games. So you can get 4 easier games over the course of the weekend.
Made famous by the Mancunian move, I believe. In the Warhammer 40k circuit. Not that I follow the Warhammer 40k circuit that badly.
I don't think anybody does, or should.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Chaos Knights book is perfectly
balanced.
Not like any other book released recently, I'll tell you that much.
Perfectly balanced. I know the internet was going absolutely mental over this indestructible Chaos Knight. And then Mikey from Hellstorm Warm Gaming did a battle report, and in a practice game beforehand, he killed it in turn 1. They're like, oh, this night's going to be insane. It's got like a 1-up save with 5-up ward afterwards. And it just died turn 1.
What doesn't die turn 1 in 40k? Honestly.
Idoneth, because they don't play 40k. Although, I think it's one of those... Oh, there's the handshake. Yeah, there's the handshake. The players have just gone through turn 5. Conquer, aggressive expansion, hold 1, hold 2, hold more, grand strategy. So 29-14 on normal scoring, but don't forget you've got the extra 5 points from getting your big dragon dead, and an extra 5 points for denying your opponent, making it 39-14 going into the round. We'll come back to us.
Yep.
On the camera. Every time. Every time. So thank you very much for everybody joining us here for game number 1 here of Mancunian Carnage, the UK's biggest tournament this weekend. There you go, with 81 registered, 77 attending, a couple of illnesses unfortunately, but when you've got this many people, you expect it.
Yeah, I'd say there's quite a happy, jolly atmosphere here. You know, game 1. We'll see what it's like by game 3. Everyone's flagging a bit.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll try and get another 40. In fact, we'll try and get Tom on for game 3 so that we'll have a 40-minute stream and then go away. For those of you that aren't aware, you can win the Echoes of Doom battle box here. Exclamation mark battle box in the chat. You can get a free entry, which you're going to do in a minute. Emailing over win.thehobbyroom@gmail.com with Echoes of Doom win in the subject and your Twitch name in the body. And if you want to enter the raffle, every £5 donate to the channel gets you 500 entries. So if you do two lots of 5, which is 10, 1,000. There you go. Any excess money from that goes to support the stream, and if we make enough, we'll do 2 draws. I think we're quite a way off that though at the moment, so we're looking to just cover the cost of 1 box at the moment. Other than that, I want to say a massive thank you very much for you joining me. Thank you very much to Steve and Neil for playing here on game number 1. The technicalities and technical issues seem to have disappeared, touch wood, so we should be okay. Alex has a magnificent, wonderful and beautiful array of food in a gorgeous buffet style over on the side. It is suave as all heck. But we will be back. Oh, do you know what we didn't look at? Sorry.
What did we not look at?
The schedule for the weekend. Here we go. Bang, here we go. Game 1 has just happened. It started at 9:30. Game 2 starts at 1 o'clock. So we'll be back around 1 o'clock, so in an hour and 20 minutes. We'll be back for that. And then game 3 is at 4:15. And then tomorrow kicks off at 9:15 in the morning with lunch at 12:15. And only a half an hour lunch on day 2 to 12:45. Nice quick lunch. Because he likes to finish early on a Sunday, does Alex, meaning we can go home sooner.
Woo! I can go home for my birthday.
Yeah, because it's your birthday on Monday. Which is pretty exciting, so happy birthday to Moog. And Craig, who usually runs the Purple Sparkly Unicorns events, the massive guy in a PSU shirt there, it's his birthday tomorrow.
There's a fair few of them in Purple Sparkly Unicorn, and in fact...
I mean the giant.
I believe that's the City of Sigmar army we saw on stream last time.
Yes, it is Michael with his Phoenix guard. So, other than that, I want to say, we're going to come back to us for a second, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody joining us, and we will be back for game number 2. Actually, hang on, I've got so many different... We have 6 screens. You wouldn't believe, there are 6 screens behind here. We'll be back for game 2 later on, so in about an hour and... Where's my mouse? In about an hour and a bit, and I'll be joined by you again. You coming to join me?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, as long as that mighty, lunch buffet doesn't defeat me.
You don't get the whole thing, mate. You don't get the
I
whole
know
thing.
They've limited 5 sandwiches each, mate. 5. I barely need. You know what? I need 5.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll catch you in a bit.